Welcome to Slow and Steady, the podcast where you get to follow along as we build products in public. Each episode gives you an honest peek into our lives as we share our struggles, our wins, and everything in between. I'm Benedikt, and I'm feeling okay.
And I'm Benedicte. Today is January 7th, 2025. This is episode number 215, and I'm feeling excited.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Happy New Year!
Happy
New
New
Year
Year
to you, and Happy New Year to all of our listeners.
Yes.
Hope you had a good a couple days off during the holidays and for New Year's and all of that. What did you do?
Yeah, I had some American email me, and it's like, I haven't heard back from you in 2 weeks. I was like, what do you mean? Like, there's been no working days for 3 weeks. Like, I don't understand.
What are you doing at work?
What are you doing at work? Yeah, because like Norway has just been completely shut down because school didn't start until yesterday because New Year's Eve was on a Tuesday, and we have these squeeze-in days we've talked about before, and now people are joking we have like squeeze-in weeks where we're just like, let's just skip this week. Like, why start? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a long, time with no school. But It's all started up again. But it was very nice. And calm. And just like, yeah.
That's nice.
We just took it all the way down. We did as little as possible this Christmas, which was very nice. Just hang out at home and relaxing.
That's very nice. We didn't do that. I mean, I'm not complaining. Like a couple years ago, we moved to this place, and basically, we've been avoiding celebrating Christmas here because the living room's pretty packed, and we are always like, impossible to get a tree in there and everything. And I'm not sure why, but like for whatever reason, we decided to give it a try this year and invited my parents-in-law over for Christmas. And we made an elaborate plan on how to fit a Christmas tree into the living room. We bought a platform with like wheels below, so we could put a tree on it, so we can easily move it around. Because the only place we can reasonably put it was in front of a cupboard, where there's glasses in there and like the booze is in there, and there's also a door to the backyard there. And to accommodate all, we had to like put it on wheels so we could like move it around, and that plan worked out actually pretty well. We bought a Christmas tree. We decided to buy a small one, and obviously we bought a big one.
But we got a small one for us this year because we can actually have in the lodge house,
right?
Because right now I have 2 houses, but that will change pretty soon. But I mean we can have up to like 5 meters.
Ooh.
But we got one that's just like below the half floor, so we didn't utilize the whole height.
It's probably still bigger than ours, but like we were opting for something. Basically, the only constraint was a diameter constraint, and we wanted like 1.20 meters or something like that. And we managed, like, we initially thought like maybe like something like 1 meter or something like that in height, and it turned out to be like 180 or something like that.
I think that's similar to ours. So good one.
Yeah, it turned out pretty nice, and with the wheels, it also wasn't a big problem of like getting to stuff. So we didn't have to move it around that much, but it was handy to have it mobile.
I might steal that idea, even though we have space. But so where were we last year at this time?
This time
in our life,
in our lives, yeah,
work lives.
I've been thinking back about this a little bit, and I remember last year around this time we just had launched the automation, the workflow builder for UserList, and I remember back then it was pretty like UserList was in a okayish place, but we were still bleeding a lot of money, and it wasn't break even. And at that point, it wasn't like hadn't grown for most of 2023. And basically, that push of like building the workflow, visual workflow builder, that was basically our attempt to get out of that plateau. And it was a very stressful, like 3, 4, 5 months at the end of 2023, where we built this, and we had just launched it, I think, in January, or we're about to launch it in January. So yeah, I feel like I'm in a calmer state this time around. The launch worked out. We did break through our plateau, and I did run the numbers a couple of days ago, and we actually made it to break even. At least like close enough-ish, like, I guess. So it's not quite a black zero, but it's close to a zero, at least closer than in a couple of previous years. So yeah, I think the business is in a okay-ish place right now.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I think at this time last year, I mean, in December, I was told that the contract with the bank was not to be
Mhm.
continued. And I had kind of banked, pun intended, on kind of having that like cushion contract and
Yeah.
just like, having something just stable to get me through the year. So that didn't happen. So in January, I guess I was like scrambling a little bit to see what I was going to do with like half my week because I work for etc. 2 days a week or like 1 day plus support kind of sprinkled through the week. And I think I don't know if I had that idea at like right and at this time last year, but I think like moving into that quarter, we started trying to sell like DevRel services. We were doing like, live trying to sell live streaming with people and like mystery dev, like testing out people's dev tools and like giving them feedback. And we actually managed to sell some of those, but that's for like later in the in the year. Yeah, but then like as a reoccurring thing, I only had outside, and I don't know if I was that panic. I think I was a little too tired. That was like the theme of last year, or I didn't realize until very late in the year how tired I was. For longtime listeners, I've been living with my mom who has early Alzheimer's. She does not live with us anymore, hence the two houses at the moment. So I was
She
just
moved
kind
out
of
though, right?
yes, so she moved out. Yeah, she did not die. She moved
that's
out.
that's that's
Yeah, like so happy. No, she's in a long-term care facility for people with early onset Alzheimer's. So
yeah.
that is like the big win of the year that didn't happen until the summer. And then I had to move her again in September. So like looking back, I think I was like very much in denial about how tired I was and kind of just like spinning my wheels and like doing all kinds of things to like pretend that um things were fine basically.
Hmm.
Uh yeah. So that was me a year ago. So much can happen in a year though.
Yeah.
Anything like we touched on like my biggest change obviously has been my mom. And then my second biggest change is that I got a part-time gig as a fractional CTO for We Bike. So we rent this no, there we are. There. We rent out, for the people watching, which nobody really does, but I was pointing to a poster of a person on a bike with two kids on the back. So we rent out long-term rental of long tail bikes. So that was in May. I got that gig in May after contacting them at the beginning of the year. So that's when things kind of shifted a little bit and the whole DevRel thing fell to the side. Um, yeah. So this are
Yeah.
my big personal and professional shifts, I guess.
Those are
Anything big
pretty big changes.
those are pretty big changes. Absolutely. Um, and I know we don't have to go that chronologically, I guess. So, but at this time, we is in a little bit of a financial crunch. So I am only half time there as opposed to what I was until
You
December. So
like
I'm a
a
little bit in this.
fractional CTO?
I am a very fractional. It's like a micro CTO for we. So I'm a little bit at the same spot I was in last year, where I do have. Um, I've been crunching the numbers. Like it's fine, but it would be nice to have another income stream.
Yeah.
So, but I'm gonna think like long and hard and like make a real sustainable plan this time. Now that I'm more rested and not as stressed and like pretending
Mhm.
and spinning my wheels and all of
Yeah.
those things. So I have things in the works, but I don't want to talk about them yet.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, at least that hopefully makes for good content for the podcast throughout the next couple of months.
I think they might. I think they might. But I've been burned too many times about like proclaiming my plans and then maybe not following through or like changing it completely. So I want to sit on this one a little longer before I kind of share the plan. Um, but yeah. But you, any big changes
um,
or milestones?
I don't think we had like both on the business side and the personal side. I think this. I don't want to say uneventful because that sounds boring and negative, but it's been a pretty uneventful year, like in a good way. Like there wasn't anything like any major shifts or any major problems, and maybe not even any major successes, but things just like keep going and was kind of working. Everything was growing, and I'm using past
Slowly
tense
and
here
steadily.
because the last December was pretty slow again as well. So let's
Mm.
see. But yeah, for the most part, it was a good year. And looking back through the calendar, I definitely noticed that. I'm not sure why, but I feel like we had more headspace. Like my wife and I had more headspace for like fun activities outside of work. um, I I remember in previous years we spent a lot of just weekends just at home, not being able to do anything. Basically, just like sitting on the couch, watching a show, reading a book,
Mm-hmm.
and like literally doing nothing. And I feel like this year we were actually pretty active, like visiting friends, visiting family, going out to dinners regularly, seeing concerts. I don't think we ever went to the movies, but I guess that's mostly on the movies and not on us.
Oh, when I was looking through my photos, I actually had a photos from the movie theater in like the first or second quarter. I think maybe even the first quarter, and I think that was the last
Yeah,
time I went to the movies. And it was
yeah.
obviously such a thing that I ended up like photoing the
I think
foyer or whatever.
I think we went to one. Yeah, I think Inside Out 2 came out somewhere
Mm-hmm.
last year sometime, and we watched that in a cinema. But that's about it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I used to like going to the movies, but I feel like these days I nothing's on where I'm like, oh, I definitely have to see
Mm-hmm.
this. I'm not sure. That might be on me, just like not following
Ooh, I'm
closely.
lying. I did see a Norwegian movie with a friend this fall that was actually
Mm,
like really, really good. I'm gonna find the like international IMDb or whatever link
right.
so that you can see if it ever comes to like a streaming platform near you. It's a Norwegian movie, but it was really, really good. Yeah, so that's. But I've also like looking through the months and looking through what I've done. Like there I worked with I worked with Outseta, I made the framer plugin for Outseta, and like those are cool things. But like every month, what I was also like looking at and like reminiscing about was like those really fun things with friends and family. And at least since August, since my mom ended up, or not ended up, since she moved out, and I kind of rested up over the summer, this fall has been all about like calm everyday life in the region. Is dig hverdag was like my mantra, because I had this check-in with this like business group I'm a part of, or like small business owner group that I'm a part of. And I just threw out whatever goal I had that I don't even remember. And I was like, the only thing that I'm going to focus on now, because between the 2 gigs outside and we like financially, we were okay. So my focus was just like, everyday life is going to be good. And not because I think I've been traveling, not much, but I've been doing like some like weekends and stuff like that, kind of to get away from my mom. And the only way I've been able to do that was without my family, because somebody had to be in the house to kind of make sure that she was okay. So it's a lot of kind of like escape feeling. So I was just like, I'm gonna sit tight, and that's also why we stayed home the whole Christmas. And I've been saying no more to like going away, and just like trying to have things happening like in my home, and resting up. And there's been some like really fun stuff. Like I had a bunch of girlfriends that I think that like they didn't know each other from before, but they gotten to know each other through me. And then all of them came to the house now that I had all this room, and we just spent a weekend together. And it was like the most amazing weekend in years. And all of us came from that, and we were like, this is just so awesome, because we're all like, what I've learned is called cooperative overlappers, which is when you talk over somebody, but you're not disrespectfully talking over somebody, but you're like, and we're all
Piling
like
on,
that.
yes.
Yes, we're like piling on. So we were like doing that the whole weekend, and all of us have like issues in our everyday life at work and stuff where that is like not okay. So like one of the girls were like, or like women, I guess, were at this time, uh, where at the end of the weekend, it's like, it's been so amazing just like letting go and not having to like watch myself, because none of us get like annoyed or feeling like we're being disrespected if the other like jumps in. So we just like had a like constant stream of conversation for like 48 hours basically. Walking through all of Oslo in a sauna, we through dinner. It was just the best weekend. So I'm gonna try and do that again in February. Um, yeah,
That
and then I
sounds
started.
nice. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I just like being mindful that I need these things on a regular schedule, because I do think it's easy to forget, like in the everyday grind, and then you start feeling a little off, or you're feeling a little, you know, well, you don't even notice it yourself often that you're like a little bit like grumpy or whatever. Um, and then, Ola, my partner, will often say like, go get out and like meet somebody. But remembering to do that and like having that scheduled in advance and making sure to take time for that. So important. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that with me into the next year, even if I add more kind of professional commitments again, now that I see that my energy levels are coming back a little bit. Like there's some little bit more space in my life for things. But yeah, I'm gonna try to keep that like calm everyday life approach um, moving forward. And then I started horseback riding every Wednesday, which is like a little mini weekend in the week,
Yeah, that's nice.
which is awesome. And I saw somebody on Twitter was like, "Oh, I'm going to try a 4-day week. I'm going to take Fridays off for," and I think it was more for like blogging and like personal development. And I was like,
Hmm.
"No, you want to take Wednesday off, because if you try to do Friday, then you're just going to fill Friday with the things you didn't get done in your work. But
Right.
Wednesday is so early in the week, you're going to take it because you have Thursday and Friday to do your other
Hmm.
commitments. And then Friday, and then when Saturday comes around, like there's no choice. Your kid is at home, and what can you do? Or you have to like go somewhere and do your work. But I was like, do Wednesdays. Wednesday is a magical time to to take out if you want to work a little bit less.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds nice. I've been actually thinking about like I don't know, like oh, let's get into this later, maybe.
But I also just wanted to say, you said like you had a good year, like it was like a boring but good year. I also think
Yeah,
that we're like 40 plus, like that's how life should be at this point, in a
hey, I'm
way.
not 40 plus yet.
Okay, I'm 40
Getting there
plus.
this year, though.
You're getting there. So that's where you should be at this point.
I have like 11 and a half months left.
Oh, okay. I'm
Leave me
sorry. I just
alone.
asked you. Oh, this was a sore topic. I didn't know.
Nah, it's not. It's fine. It
It's
doesn't it
fine.
doesn't matter.
Are you sure?
But
Okay.
yeah, like looking at my highlights of the year, they were always always time with friends and time with family, I guess. And that's nice. I don't know. I it sounds like I was a loner before, which I don't think I was, but yeah, it's just like was a lot better than previous years, and I'm very grateful for that. And I guess the trick was just to always schedule the next time you see each other when you're meeting someone. Like we have a couple of friends we go to dinner with, and basically
Oh,
the
sorry, we have a
last.
snowstorm in the city, and my daughter is
Ooh,
on her way home, so I just have to take this.
sure. I just continue talking. We always just made sure to schedule the next dinner whenever we went out, and that was really nice, and I really enjoyed it. And I guess we're having the next dinner on Saturday, so that's also nice.
She's on her way home. Everything is fine.
Okay,
So,
good.
side note: yesterday, like I was late for my like outside a meeting at night and everything because we were like trekking through like 30 centimeters of like newly fallen snow
Mm-hmm.
in just like the afternoon. And this morning, our parasol, is that what it's called in English? Like a umbrella that you have on the table for like the
Mm-hmm.
sun, but we always have it up the whole table, and that was like fallen over, and our
Ooh.
like courtyard is just filled with snow. It's like and the buses aren't going, but then it seems like the subway is still going, so she can get home.
Mm-hmm. We,
It's
Sunday
just,
morning, I woke up to like about 5 centimeters of snow, and then Monday we got like 10 degrees plus, so everything's gone.
I think everything's gonna supposedly be gone by tomorrow. So this is just like this crazy weather that we've started getting. Sorry, sidebar. You were saying.
I was basically just well, thinking back about like spending time with friends and having a good time, and family as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, I hope we can keep that going in 2025.
We will have to make like we need to check on that like once a month, like make sure that we ask each other, have we succumbed to like just like the grind, or are we still being good about
Yeah,
creating space for friends and family?
yeah. I have to admit though that we decided to take January slow because it feels like been too busy on the
To visit
weekends.
socializing. I mean,
It's
it's
like
all a
it's a
balance. It's all a
balance, right?
balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like
Yeah, like
we
I've said that
yeah
I'm saying more no to like weekends away and stuff just because I do get more tired than I did
yeah
before, and I probably partly age since I am past 40, but also just because I realized I was a lot more tired than I thought through like my mom's situation that's been going on for so many years, that when I
yeah
finally was able to rest, I was just like, oh my god, this I'm like actually like exhausted, but I can like feel these like little like bursts of energy, or like winds of energy that like passes me, and then like I have a couple of days where I'm like, oh, I'm back to like actually being exhausted, but they're like becoming more and more frequent, and they're staying for longer, and I'm like slowly like trusting that I might kind of get that like creative energy and just like the energy to execute things uh like in the
yeah
coming month. So
yeah
I'm being like very protective of both my time and what I like commit to, like at least externally, so that um I don't feel pressured to doing more than I can handle. but but yeah, it's so nice feeling that again. It's been a while, and like
yeah
having these like creative ideas and just writing them down and not having to do all of them, but just like having them again, um, is like, I don't know, it's energizing, I guess.
yeah
I'm like lacking some words, some English words. I know there are some English words here that I'm just like I can't find them. That's the issue with this like long vacation. I've been only speaking Norwegian mostly for for 3 weeks, and my like American brain or English brain is like having issues
Yeah,
getting there
that
again.
happens.
That happens. So I put down another like big thing that happened to me. So I went to the ADA conference in Oslo in October, which was like a conference that was like mostly filled with women and non-binary folks, and I just like it was such a, I'm gonna keep using this word, like energizing experience. Like I've always been totally fine with being like usually the only woman in the room and in the floor or the department or wherever I'm at. But both working in where there's a lot of women, and then going to that conference, it was like, wow, this was actually this was something that I didn't know I kind of craved. So I
Mhm.
definitely gonna like take time to go to that conference again this year, and hopefully also speak this year because I've been saying no like 3 years in a row or 2 years in a row. So I'm gonna try to like make time for that because it was such a well put on conference. And the cool thing was also that they did, it wasn't like a front end conference or a Rails conference or something like that. It was just like people just spoke on so many different
Mhm.
tech talks. So there was like hardware talks and software talks and more like, life skill talks. It was like all kinds of talks, and they were short enough that and like at a level where everybody could get something out of them. And I realized I missed that as well because most of the conferences I've been going to lately are very like niche. Um and and that can be interesting in its own way, but like getting all of those different talks also like gets your creative juices going in a different way because you can hear about things that are like tangent to the things that you're
Mhm.
working on. That was super interesting. So I'm gonna mark that in my calendar so that I actually make time to book make a talk and go to the conference in October.
Yeah, sounds
Anything you're
good.
making room for that you have to like mark out in your calendar so that you don't suddenly get there and there's no time? Oh, sorry,
I
that's
don't
next
have.
year. We were gonna talk about next year in the next episode. I'm sorry. I'm like foreshadowing. Yeah.
uh, the short answer is no. We have some vacation planned, but that's about it. Um, let's see if I might regret not setting away time. But like, for example, I kind of want to go to MicroConf as usual, MicroConf Europe, but it's not even announced yet, so I don't even know when to plan for it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Anything else big you want to talk about from, or not big, anything else you want to talk about from 2024?
well, similar to you, playing the drums was big for me in 2024, and I'm proud of myself to just like kept doing it. Like, yes, there have been weeks where I did it more and weeks where I did it less, and I might have skipped a week or two here and there, but I continued that habit. Is it a habit at this point? I don't know. Maybe not, but just having that accountability of like with two of my friends just meeting on a Zoom call and just doing it kept me doing it, and that was pretty nice. And I'm counting that as a big win in 2024, to to have a hobby outside of work, even though I'm on a computer while I'm doing well. Whatever. Let's not talk about it.
I think it counts.
Okay, cool.
I think it counts. It definitely counts. I mean, it would be better if you went somewhere and like drummed with other real people in real life. But it still
Yeah,
counts.
but
It still
yeah.
counts as a hobby.
The logistics of that is complicated, I guess.
Yeah. And I just want to say, because I kind of talked about it in the beginning and then I didn't. It's like, yeah, so I like the big fail of the year was like trying to sell these DevRel services. We did sell some, we did do parts of it, or I did part of one, and then Will and I did part of the other. But after the summer, I just realized that like this I was not going to be able to complete this thing. So we refunded the two customers, and I feel really bad about that because like we sold something and we were supposed to do it, um and we kind of did some, and like that was just the realization
Yeah.
that I did not have the capacity to like be fun. So we haven't really streamed since June, and we streamed once in September, and we haven't really done that.
You're streaming right now, though.
Yes, well, I've been streaming with you, but like streaming coding and like being my fun queen self
Yeah,
did not happen the last 6 months. So that, I guess that's that happens in parts of your life. Got to fail a little as well.
for sure. Well,
For sure.
not for sure, but like that's just how it turns out, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, kudos to you for making that call, though. Like realizing you're not going to make it, realizing that it's taking too much energy, or like you're not going to be able to do a good enough job, and then like telling the customer and refunding them.
Yeah.
That's a big professional step. Like it takes some guts.
Also, I should have done it like quite a while
Earlier?
before I did it. Earlier, yes.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. But I mean, there might still be room for improvements, but still, like making a call and being open about it and being vulnerable about it, even mentioning it right now, like I feel like that's a big plus, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I've been ghosted by people I hired and paid. And I had to chase them for my money for months. And yeah. It would have been nice if they had just told me, hey, sorry, I can't do this. I'm sorry, here's your money back, or like whatever. It's better than just like pretending to do it and not doing it.
Yes, that is true. That is true. But yeah. So for more realistic plans in 2025 that we're talking about next time.
Yeah. I guess that's it for this week then, right? What a cliffhanger.
See you around the interwebs.
See you.